Hey y'all, Sai here! Well, I'm in the shop and husband is making a bookcase for daughter Crystal and she wants some Intarsia flowers on it. So I got some patterns of flowers from Serhan from Chipilwood on Etsy. He makes a whole bunch of patterns, so I bought these patterns and you just download them and I'm going to make some flowers. I'll show you where they're going to go. There, I backed the camera way up so you could see the whole thing. But this is going to be the bookshelf, and he has a couple more shelves here to add. And the Intarsia is going to go right up here. Yay, I'm excited about it! I had 5 different papers of flowers by Serhan with Chipilwood on Etsy. And he has a whole bunch of other socials, and I'll put a link to his shop down in the description below. I looked and I marked what flowers I wanted to be what color. I printed off 4 to 5 copies of each, keeping one to work from, and then started cutting out the pieces of paper. I used 3M77 spray glue and I sprayed groups that were going to be the same color. And these were going to be yellow, so I put them on the yellow heart. Once I had all the papers on the designated woods, I started sawing them out on the Hegner. I ended up using yellow heart, purple heart, padauk, poplar, cedar, holly, and a mystery wood that I think may be Osage orange. And here is how everything looked after it was all cut out. I brushed mineral spirits on all the papers and some of them were not going to come off, mainly the papers on the purple heart. But the sander will take it right off. Here's how they looked once I got most of the papers off. I did rough bolt sanding using 100 grit on the sander with the air-filled drum. And then husband came in and he had gotten a coffee for me, decaf. I can only handle decaf anymore, but it was delicious. Thank you!
You're welcome. Hi guys! I'll be right back.
I worked on shaping those. The little pieces were not easy to hold onto while sanding on this big sander, but it worked to rough things in at least. I love this sanding cleaner stick, and either the little bit of caffeine in the coffee kicked in, or maybe it was the fact that I was finally in the shop working on Intarsia again, but anyway, a happy dance ensued. And here is how things were looking so far. And Wally was on the pillow hanging out with me. He has a prolapsed eyelid, or cherry eye they call it, and it has gotten flared up recently, so he's going to be having surgery here real soon to repair it. I was excited to use the Dremel type tool to sand and shape these flowers. It was fun and it worked really well, but it still left the flowers looking a little bit rough. It's really fun to speed this up, and you can see the accumulation of the sawdust on my clothes. I used a flex drum sander with 220 grit as much as I could to smooth out that rough look, but I ended up having to do a lot of hand sanding to make everything look smooth. I used 220 and I loved the result from the hand sanding. Wally wanted to be on my lap at this point, and I was able to still do some hand sanding, but we eventually quit for the day. I told Hub I would sand the entire bookcase since I don't mind sanding, and I needed to prep the area where the Intarsia will be glued. We laid it down on the outfeed table so I could easily glue the flowers on it. I used the orbital sander for most of it, but did hand sand the edges. Now the exciting part of putting the flowers onto the bookcase. So I moved them all over. And then I stood inside the bookcase so I could rearrange them. And I got them to where I liked the way they were looking. Hello! I think I like this arrangement. Yes, I think I do. And I have to do a little more sanding. And then I can start gluing. Ah! Yay! So I had them where I wanted them, but they weren't completely done being sanded and smoothed. So I took one piece at a time and I finished sanding it, then glued it in place using Titebond Quick and Thick. On the next day, I was able to continue working on gluing. I had a step ladder next to the outfeed table so I could climb up to it to put my camera in the tripod. Then I sanded and glued and sanded and glued and sanded and glued. And did everybody catch that? If not, I sanded and glued. And finally it was all done, and I took the camera down off of the tripod and took a final look. Okay, Hub and I are up here now, and we're gonna put some tung oil on the whole thing, and I'm excited to see what this looks like with tung oil on it. Woo! First, Hub used a tack cloth to remove any dust. Then we started putting the tung oil on. Since the flowers have nooks and crannies, I used a small brush to get the tung oil into those spaces. While I worked on the flowers, Hub was wiping the tung oil on the rest of the case. I used compressed air to blow out the pools of tung oil that settled with the flowers, and then I was able to wipe that up. We put the tung oil everywhere, and then we used a fresh cloth to wipe off the excess. Here is Gibbs, and he follows husband around like Wally follows me. And Gibbs was ready to go back to the house, so he was on husband's every move. Well, we didn't put anything on the back of this using the laser, so I said to husband, well, I could put a verse on the back doing the old method. So I have my wood burner with my little tip plugged in, getting heated up, and we're gonna put a couple verses on there. I picked that one, and husband picked that one, and they both have to do with the Word of God, which His Word is found in the Bible. So since this is a bookshelf and the Bible is a book, we thought they fit. Husbands is 2 Timothy 2:15, and it says, "Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth." Yeah. And I picked Psalm 119:11. I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Okay, there they are. Get them be 215 and Psalm 119:11. Okay. Okay, here it is all finished. Yay! And then there are 4 of these shelves that Crystal is able to put wherever she wants. And yay! So her husband has a channel and it's called Hardwood Inspirations, and he will have a video of him making the bookshelf. Yeah. Not sure when he's going to put that out, but he'll have that out sometime soon. And anyway, so thanks so much for joining me, and we'll just see you next time. Bye! Wally. Yeah. Wally had eye surgery. Yeah. He's doing pretty good though, huh? Yeah. You ready to go back down? Ready to go down?